Chicken eggs. The production of eggs, the #1 breakfast food in the world, starts in a huge industrial henhouse. Birds begin to lay eggs from 19 weeks old. The temperature as well as the humidity of the room are carefully controlled to ensure that the hens are always comfortable. Meticulously measured amounts of food are supplied to the feeders 3 times a day. The mixture is made of cereals and soybeans for protein. Vitamins and calcium are also added to make the shells stronger. These conditions increase the yield too. An average chicken lays around 300 eggs a year. The floor of the cells are slightly sloped so that the eggs will roll into a special chute. From here, special mechanisms carefully transfer each egg to a long conveyor belt. The final destination is the packaging department. However, not all eggs get there at once. At this stage, each egg is inspected by a worker. Their task is finding dirty eggs and sending them for washing and cleaning. The eggs are placed in the trays automatically. After that, they're put in refrigerators and taken to a sorting station. Here, the eggs are divided into different categories. The eggs of the highest quality are sent to the stores, while the rest are shipped to a variety of factories where they're used as ingredients. At this station, the eggs are washed with soap and water. Once dried, the eggs pass over a bright light so that the worker can identify the eggs with cracked shells and remove them from the belt. Then special cameras assess the appearance and condition of the eggs. Afterwards, each egg is tested for strength. Acoustic sensors detect defects by sound. Finally, special equipment sorts the eggs by size and weight. Here, the eggs are stamped, and only after that are the eggs ready for the final packaging. Flagship cheddar cheese. A wide variety of cheeses are made all over the world. There are a huge number of different types, but today we're going to talk about the production process of flagship cheddar. The process of making each batch takes approximately 5 hours. It all starts with the milk. The more delicious that is, the more delicious the cheese will be. First, the milk is heated to 60 degrees Celsius and kept warm for about an hour. This process is known as pasteurization. It disinfects the milk and extends its shelf life. Then, lactic acid bacteria and enzymes are added to the milk in a special tank. They make the mixture thicker. To produce cheese, you need something like a pudding in texture, not a liquid. What you see on the screen is a mixture of milk whey and curd. The latter forms when the milk is curdled with leaven or rennet. It is the base for making cheese and cottage cheese. The mass is then cut multiple times. The workers then stir it up several times in order to ensure that the components don't clump together. Everything that happens next is exhausting manual work. The workers move the cheese, flip it and stack the layers on top of each other. Thanks to this process, the cheese is oxidized and proteins are formed, and gradually the mass becomes denser. In the end, it is sliced and salted, then it is pressed. Now this mass will be kept in the chamber for maturation from 12 to 16 months. That's how long it takes for the production to turn into cheese. Krispy Kreme donuts. The company we're going to show you now was established 82 years ago. Since then, the secret recipe of the dough has not changed that much. Flour, butter, yeast, sugar, salt, and eggs are all mixed in a special industrial mixer. And at the same time, the glaze is prepared. To make the dough fluffier, it's additionally stirred by hand several times. This increases the volume of the dough by a factor of about 1.5. The mass is then supplied to the extruder, which squeezes the donuts into a donut shape. Note how thin the product is. In order for the donut to take on its normal size, it's given a little time to rise. And only after that do the donuts fall into the fryer, where they're fried evenly from all sides using special equipment that flips the donuts. Then the products move along the conveyor belt. After the excess oil has dripped off, they are ready to be glazed. This is the final stage of production. After that, the donuts are ready. The same conveyor belt then takes them to the shop, where the worker puts them in boxes for sale. Clark bars. In this case, the production process begins with the creation of the filling. Sugar syrup is mixed with corn syrup, coconut oil, and molasses. The mixture is then stirred for about 8 minutes in an industrial mixer at a high temperature. The prepared mass is poured into large stainless steel bowls. The leftovers of the last batch of bars are also added. On a special table, the mass is mixed until it becomes uniform. At this stage, it's already thick and sticky. It's difficult to stir it manually, so special equipment comes into play. The future bar spends about 5 minutes in this machine. During this time, it's repeatedly stretched out and infused with air. Thanks to these air bubbles, the product eventually turns out to be viscous, not solid. Now the mass is stretched out into sheets, which are then covered with a layer of peanut butter. From here it gets into the following machine. It gradually turns the sheet into a thin sausage with the perfect diameter for a chocolate bar. Then the filling is cut and covered with a layer of molten chocolate. The product is now ready, and now that all remains is packing the bars and sending them to the shops. Dried fruits. The last process we're going to show you today is simple, but it still looks beautiful and interesting. This factory produces dried pineapples and mangoes. Curiously, these two products are not manufactured at the same time. Production is divided into days. Some days only mangoes are processed, while others are reserved for pineapples. Each mango is thoroughly washed in a special water tank. Cutting and peeling is not an automated process. It's carried out by people in several stages. Pineapples are also washed before further production, but in this case, the peeling is done automatically. Then the sliced fruits get into a tank with sugar syrup. It must have the right consistency. If the syrup is too dense, it can make the core lose its elasticity. And if it's too liquid, the product won't become candied fruit. After the syrup drips off, the sweet slices are dried in the oven and then packed. Hey, stop being lazy, it's time to use that brain of yours. Welcome to Brain Time. Incredible facts from the past, the present, and even the future. The power of nature and wild animals, amazing facts and unsolved mysteries. You'll find all this and much more here. Subscribe now, you won't regret it.